Hilchish Goges Perik Achadosa. Maybe just a little Akdama. When you get the dinam of the Chatois Kvuis, which we learned that you bring for the 43 Averis, so over there the din is that even if a person was a Shegig and he had no idea before he did the Avera that there was an Avera or anything about the Avera, but Lepil, since he did the Avera, and later on he realizes he did the Avera, so he's Chayav Achatas. We had Benegir, for example, someone that was a Tinik Shenishbal Bein Akum. He didn't know anything about the Averas, and he didn't even know he was a Yid. But Lepil, later on he realizes he's a Yid, and Memela, that there's a Musa called Shabbos, and that if a person's Mechal Shabbos, he's Chayav Achatas, so he has to bring a Korban Chatas for Shabbos, even though before that he didn't even know that there was a Metzias of Shabbos. And al there is all the other Averas. If he didn't know anything about it, nevertheless, Lepel, he realizes he was over the Avera b'Shegig, so it was a Helam, it was a Shegig, and now there's a Yediyah b'Seif, so he has to bring a Korban. But Negea, Tumas Migdash v'Kadoshav, which we're learning that if a person does it b'Shegig, he has to bring a Korban Eila v'Yered. Over here, there's a special din that there has to be a Yediyah b'Tchila as well as a Yediyah b'Seif. This means he has to be realizing before that he was Tamei, and that this was Kodesh, or that this was Migdash, and only then, and then he forgot. Either he forgot he was Tamei, or he forgot that this was Migdash, or this was Kodesh, and he went in and he did it because of this forgetting, and then he realizes he did an Aveda, so then he's Chayiv on this Korban Eila v'Yered. Masha'inkin, for example, he wasn't aware that he was Tamei, or he wasn't aware that this Basar was Kodesh, so there was no Yediyah b'Tchila, so then he's not Chayiv for this Korban. That's this Chiddush b'Negea Tumas Migdash v'Kadosha. That's what I'm going to learn it now. Perik Achadosa. Shinu yesh b'Shegagos Tumas Migdash v'Kadosha, masha'in came b'Shar Krisus. Shekol HaKrisus, Kivin Sheshaga, if a person did the Aveda b'Shegig, and then v'Negele b'Seif Shechota, is Aval Pishali Hoysele Yediyah b'Tchila. Before that he knew nothing. Is nevertheless that he's a Chayiv Chatas. Aval b'Tumas Migdash v'Kadosha, Eini Mevi Korban Eila v'Yered. He doesn't bring this Korban Eila v'Yered. He has to be aware that he was Tomei, and also the Yedil Kedesh, he has to be aware that this was Kodesh, Eila Migdash B'Tchila, and then the Yedil Tomei, Yedil Kedesh, Eila Migdash B'Seif, and then later on he realizes that he was Tomei and this was Migdash B'Seif, and V'Hela Mitayim Ketzah. So Ram touches ways. Nitma, if a person became Tomei, and then V'Nichlas LeMigdash Yachal Kedesh. Lepel, he became Tomei, and he went into the Migdash or Echel Kedesh. That's one situation. In other words, he didn't realize Bechlal he was Tomei. Person became Tomei, and he goes into the Migdash, or he eats Kedesh, and later on he realizes he was Nitma. That's one scenario. And another scenario is V'Shekodesh Hayazesha Ochli, a Migdash Hayazesha Nichmas. Maybe it could be both scenarios together. In other words, he didn't realize it was Tomei, he didn't realize this was Kodesh, and Lepel he goes, or he didn't realize it was Migdash, and the Lepel he goes ahead as a Tomei, goes into the Migdash and eats Kodesh. So in such a case, so Lepel he did it b'Shegig. So the din is Areza Pater Mikorban. So the Ram is talking a case, over here the case is either way, Bamis. In other words, if he's missing one of those ideas, either he's missing the idea that he was Tomei, or he's missing the idea that he was Kodesh, or if he's missing both ideas. So either way, he's part of Korban. Nacham Ketzah, Nitma, he became Tomei, and Lepel v'Nichlas l'Migdash Yachal Kedesh. And V'Chakach Nedele, later he finds out, Shenitma, and V'Shahayit Tomei V'Shah She'achal Nichnas. That's one situation. Or V'Shekedesh Hayazeh She'achli, a Migdash Hayazeh She'Nichnas, that he found out that prat. So the din is, or both, so the din is Ariza Pater Mikorban, he has to have that before anything happened, he knew he was Tomei, and also V'Shazek Kedesh, V'Zeh Migdash, Kedem She'yikonis and Kedem She'yochel. He has to know both pratim, that he's Tomei, and this is Kedesh, and then it's Migdash, and then they became a Helam Ketzah, Nitma. V'Yodesh Nitma, he knew that he was Tomei, and also V'Yodesh is a Migdash, and this is a Migdash, or V'Shazek Kedesh, depending if he's going into the Migdash or he's eating Kedesh. So he knows both pratim, that he's Tomei, and this is Kedesh, and this is Migdash. Then he forgot that he was Tomei. And V'Shokach Nitma, and because of that, is Nichnas L'Migdash Yochel Kedesh. He forgot that he was Tomei, and as a result of that, he went into the Kedesh, he went into the Migdash, or he ate Kedesh. And V'Yodesh is a Migdash, is a Kedesh. And at that point in time, he knew that this was Kedesh and that was Migdash. But he forgot that he was Tomei. That's one seal. Another tzir would be sheshagag v'shachach shezeh migdash shezeh b'sak kedush. There's we're talking about again. He started off knowing that he's tummy. He started off knowing that this is kedush and migdash. That's what he knew before he started. Now he forgot. Either he forgot that he was tummy, and as a result of the fact that he was tummy, he forgot that he was tummy. He went ahead and ate kedush, or as a result of the fact that he forgot that he was tummy, he went ahead and went into the migdash. That's one scenario. There's another scenario is that he still realized that he was tummy, but he forgot that this was kedush and migdash. Oy sheshagag v'shachach shezeh migdash shezeh b'sak kedush. That's a second scenario. He knows that he's tummy, but he forgot that this was kedush and migdash. A third scenario is and also v'shachach shezeh b'sak kedush. This is migdash and v'nichnas yochel. That would be a third situation. He knew both. He knew that he was tummy and this was kedush and migdash, and now he forgot both. He forgot that he was tummy. He forgot that this is kedush or migdash. And v'nichnas yochel and v'achar kach nedelei dvarim shenisalmu mimenu. The things that he forgot, now he realizes. In other words, if he forgot that he was tummy, so now he realizes he was tummy, but he knew the whole time there was kedush and migdash. If he forgot that it was kedush and migdash, so now he realizes there was kedush and migdash, and the whole time he knew he was tummy. So he puts two and two together, and maybe he realizes he was a tummy shenichlas l'migdash, or he forgot both, and now he realized both. So the din is in any of these cases is areza mevi carbon elevated. Bechol tzad v'tzad mishesh machlokes elu. So in order, the shesh machlokes elu is again, he has to start off knowing that he's tummy. He has to start off knowing that it's kodesh and migdash, and then he forgot. So there could be a metzias where we're dealing with nichnas lemigdash. So there could be either he forgot that he's tummy. That's one case. Another case is he forgot that this was migdash. And the third case is that he forgot it's both. And then B'negei Kodesh is also, there could be B'negei Kodesh, he forgot that he was tummy. He forgot that this was Kodesh, or he forgot both. That's the Sheish Machlokes Elu, 3 by Migdash and 3 by Kodesh. In other words, either he forgot the Tumah, forgot the Migdash, or forgot both, side by Migdash and side by Tumah, side by Kodesh. So then over there, only then are you chai. That's the yisod of this halacha. The state of this halacha is that before a person is chai for tumas migdash for kadosh or b'shegeg, there has to be a yediyah b'tchila. The chiddush is there has to be a yediyah b'tchila. He has to be aware side that he's tamei, and side that this is migdash or this is kedush. And if he doesn't have both yediyahs before, so then he's potter. Minay and shedin shigas migdash v'kadosh kachu. Shegagos nemer b'seisa achas mitzvus Hashem asher leisi yosenu v'oshem. And then it says, so the whole point is that he was a shegig, he did an avera, he did an avera, and later on it was he did the avera. Now he realizes he did the avera. So the ikar is kivin shiyada b'seif. As long as at the end he realizes a heidel of chatos shechata is afal pishaliyada b'tchila. He didn't know anything b'tchila, but now he realizes he did an avera. That's b'negesh archatois. However, ubetumas migdash v'kodashim nemar v'nela mimenu v'hu yada v'oshin. So over here, it's nela mimenu. There was a nela mimenu. Mi'achar shenema v'nela mimenu. He forgot something. Is miklal shehoysa sham yediyah b'tchila. So that there was the yediyah b'tchila. No, he forgot. He knew something and he forgot it. V'nemar v'hu yada v'oshin. So then holamada to shul tzarech yediyah b'tchila and v'yediyah b'sei v'elamitai. So the Nelam Mimenu is telling us that there has to be a Yediyah B'tchila, and then there has to be a Nelam, and then there's the V'yoda, V'oshin. So now he realizes he did an Avera. So we learn out that there could be a Yediyah B'tchila, there has to be a Yediyah B'tchila, Yediyah B'seif. So that's the Nekudas HaHalacha, that by Tumas Migdash V'Kodoshav, in order to be Chayiv, there has to be a Yediyah Kedesh, and he has to be a Yediyah Tumah, and a Yediyah Kedesh, or Yediyah Migdash, depending what are we talking about. And then there should be a Helam, either a Helam of the Tumah, or the Helam of the Kedesh, or a Helam of both. Halacha beis. Nitma v'yoda shel nitma, and v'yoda shezeh kedush v'zeh migdash. So l'churi he has all the ideas. Avalei yoda be'eza av nitma. He knows he became tummy, but he doesn't know if he became tummy. He never knew if he was tummy bin avela. He doesn't know if he was tummy bin avela or was tummy b'sheretz. And lepel now is v'shachach shenitma. He forgot that he was nitma. And v'achar kach nichnas l'migdash yachol kedush. And now now he realized be'eza av nitma. So the idea betchila was a ideas tumah, but on the other hand, the ideas tumah without knowing which avi was nitma. The idea b'seif, he realizes that he was nichnas lemigdash when he was tummy. He was nichnas lemigdash when he was tummy, and now he realizes which tumah he was nichnas lemigdash with. Right now he realizes which tumah he was nichnas lemigdash, but originally he didn't really. He knew he was tummy before he forgot about it, but he didn't know. He never knew which tumah he became tummy with. So the din is harei zechai of carbon. Afal pishel yada betchila be'eza av nitma. Hail v'yada shu tummy is harei hoyse sham yedias tumah betchila. So the Rambam is telling us a chiluk between the idea betchila and idea b'seif. Knows the idea betchila, as long as he knew he was tummy, even though he didn't really know why he was tummy, if he was tummy because he was a naga b'sheretz or he was a naga b'nevela, he wasn't sure, but he knows that he was tummy. So that's called the idea betchila. But the idea b'seif later on, when he realizes, then he obviously forgot that he was tummy. He forgot that he was tummy, and therefore he was nichnas l'migdash or achol kedesh. And now he realizes that he was tummy, but just realizing that he was tummy, memela he didn't have is not enough to be chayv carbon. By the idea b'seif, and the Rambam is meduyik, that the idea b'seif has to be a idea that he realizes how he became tummy. Not only that he was tummy, but how he became tummy, and memela that he did an avera, obviously, because he was nichlas l'migdash or achol kedesh, and only then is he chayv carbon. So again, there's a din of a yediyah b'tchila and a yediyah b'seif, and there's a chiluk between the yediyah b'tchila has to be a yediyah of tumah, but it doesn't have to know how the tumah came, and the yediyah b'seif, when he realizes he did the avera because he was tummy, he has to have a yediyah how the avera came about, how the tumah came about. Aval now el v'yada shu tumah ha'rehoyse shem yediyah tchum b'tchila. Aval nel mimenu hilchis tumah k'gein shenitma b'kadashim and asheretz. A person became tummy b'kadashim and asheretz, and v'yada shasheretz metami. Aber v'yada b'shir, he didn't know how much is the shear for a sheretz to be metami. And that was so. Knows he knew that he was naga b'sheretz, and he knew that a sheretz is metami, but he wasn't really sure the shear of how much a sheretz is metami. And then so he shouldn't go into the mikdash. It's safik tummy. Now lepel v'shachak shenoga b'sheretz klai. B'chlal forgot that he was naga b'sheretz, and v'nichnas yachol. And then v'achar kach nedole shenoga b'kadashim and asheretz, and that a kadashim and asheretz is metami. So he had a idea, a shtickle idea. His idea was that he touched something which he might be tummy. He doesn't know for sure he's tummy. He knows he touched something which is metami, but he wasn't sure that it was the right shear. So over here is a suffix. Im chayev karbonei potter. Over here, since there was a idea, knows if he didn't know b'chalal he was tummy, so that's not considered a idea. If he b'chalal knew that he was tummy, he didn't know how he became tummy, so that's considered a idea b'tchila. Over here, he knew that he came into contact with something that was metami, but he didn't really know if the contact that he had was enough to be metami. So it's a idea suffix, so to speak. So over here, this is a suffix of that idea is enough for the idea b'tchila. And it is a suffix im chayev karbonei potter. That's one suffix. V'cheinu, it's the same. Next case is the same havana, but it's talking about not b'negei achilas kedesh, b'negei achilas migdash. V'chein mi shelo hamigdash miyomav v'lihev mikemes. Just like we had the case where a person he knew that he came into contact with a sheretz, but he wasn't sure. He didn't know the shear, so he wasn't sure that he was tummy. So there's a suffix whether that's called the yediyah satuma. He knows the yediyah satuma. He knows for sure he was tummy. That's certainly yediyah satuma. Over here, he knows that he came into contact with tumah, but he doesn't know if it was the shear of the tumah. So he knew that he was a suffix tumah. V'chein, another situation would be a suffix. Mi sheli ra migdash b'yamav v'lehevim mekemi. He never saw the Beis Hamikdash. So now im nitma. So b'chla, if he didn't know there was a Beis Hamikdash, so b'chla there was no hell in Mikdash. Over here, he knows there's a Beis Hamikdash. It's just that he doesn't know where exactly the Beis Hamikdash. He knows there's Beis Hamikdash in Yerushalayim. He doesn't know which binyan is the Beis Hamikdash. V'chein mishal yirah hamikdash mekemi miyomav lehevim mekemi is im nitma. He became tummy and v'yada shenitma, and he also knows that there is a mikdash. And then v'nichnas l'mikdash, he went into the mikdash. V'liyada b'tchila shezol mekemi. He never knew that this was the place of the Beis Hamikdash. Sharei leira'o me'elu. Now v'achar kav zachar atumah. We have to talk about he's a shegeg. So it's not a person that knows there's a Beis Hamikdash, and he knows he's tummy, and he's going in because then how is he the shegig? He has to be a shegig. So the shegig means that knows he has to be a he forgot something. So what did he forget? He forgot it was tummy. He knows there's a Beis Hamikdash, and he knows that if you're tummy, you're not allowed to go into the Beis Hamikdash. But he doesn't know which is the Beis Hamikdash. Lepel, he forgot that he was tummy, and v'charkach zocher atumah, he remembered the tumah, and v'yodesh is a migdash, and now he realizes that where he went was a migdash, and memela it comes out that he went into the Beis Hamikdash when he was tummy. So here is again harei ze sofik im yediyah sheyesh migdash be'elam yediyah. Is that considered that he was yediyas hamikdash? He knew that he was tummy, and he also knew that there is a mikdash, and then he forgot that he's tummy. So these two cases, we have two sveikas. One sofik is he knew he was neger b'sheretz, he didn't know the shir, and over here he knew there was a mikdash, but he didn't know which one was the mikdash. So the din is yiroli she'elu achayavim carbon b'sofik eina mevin carbon. The people, but there's only a suffix whether they're chayav a carbon elevated. Don't bring a carbon. Shemi yachnisu chulin lazar. They can't bring a chulin lazar. Now vim teimar v'alichatu seif boal a suffix. Ve'ena necheles l'chura. There's a eitz of a chatu seif. So l'chura l'mashal tumas migdash v'kadosh. If he's an oni, he could bring two ephas. So l'chura, why shouldn't that be an option to bring two ephas? Because we see that a chatu seif is boal a suffix. So that the Rambam says mipnei shamevi eisa. The person that brings a chatas eval asafik, a yiledes or a zava, so that's he's mechusik kippurim. That person is mechusik kippurim. So maybe it's a mechusik kippurim. Asur lechel b'kachma chiyavi kaparasi. Since that person is a mechusik kippurim and they can't eat kachim until they bring the kapara, so therefore they're allowed to bring this chatas eval asafik. Avol misha any mechusik kippurim. Over here, it's not the get to bring eating kachim. This is a shaila if he's mechuyev in a carbon. So since he's a mechusik kapara, so the Rambam says that Yeroli. That any maybe carbon yisafik. He's not going to go ahead and bring a chatus eif ala safik. Halacha gimel. Mi shnitm v'azara. Now the din is someone that becomes tummy in the azara is not allowed to be shoya in the azara. He has to go out right away, and he's not allowed to go out b'derech harucha. He has to go out in the shortest possible way. Now lepel, he went out of the azara. If a person was shoya, and he was shoya the shir where it says he's the amount of time that say the pasuk vayichru apayim orzo. The amount of time that it takes to say this pasuk. So if he was a mezid, he's chayav karas, and if he's a shegig, then he's a chayav carbon elevated for this shir, just like you're chayav a carbon elevated for being nichnas lemigdash. So al derech if you're shoya in the migdash after you became tummy, the amount of time that it takes to say this pasuk by yichru apayim until Hidus Lashem Kitev Kileilam Chazdei. So then you're chayav karas, and if it was b'shegi, you're chayav achatus the carbon elevated. So now the Ram says halacha gimel mi shenitma bazar is first of all tzarok sheyeda tchila shenitma. He has to realize that he became tummy, and also v'shezem migdash, and that this is the migdash. And if after that, if imnelim imenu achar then he forgot one of them, either shenitma, he forgot that he was nitma, but he was zachar shezem migdash. Eishenel imenu shezem migdash v'lishachar shenitma, or he realized he's nitma, but he forgot that this was the migdash. Eishenis alma imenu zevazeh, he forgot both. In other words, he became tummy in the azara, and he forgot either he forgot he was tummy, or he forgot this was the azara, or he forgot both. Eishenis alma imenu zevazeh is kshiyavadolei. When he realized that he was nel mimenu, and as a result of that he was shaya, is kshiyavadolei. Later on, when he realizes that he was shaya while he was tummy in the migdash, is kshiyavadolei yavi carbon elevated. Abevahu sheyisha kashir. That's only if he was shaya kashir. Kamisha biyanu bilchas bias migdash. And the shir is the amount of time that it says to say this pasuk that in vayichru apayim arza until heidol Hashem kitev kileilam chazdei. Then it says that's the din if he was tummy, he became tummy bazar. Now there's a shaila halacha dalet mi shetimi atzmi b'mezid and v'lisho kashir. Now we're talking about he was timi atzmi b'mezid, and then he forgot that either that he was tummy or that this is the mikdash, and he was shaya, but he wasn't shaya kashir. So the suffix over here is going to be whether this din of the shia kashir is only for someone that was timi atzmi that became tummy b'inus. So then, if he was tummy, if he was shah kashir, that's when he has to bring the carbon elevated, and if not, he doesn't bring a carbon elevated. Masha'inkin, if a person was matami asma b'mezid, so he has to go right away, and even if he's shaya without this shir, he's also chayiv on his carbon elevated, or no, this shir is even for someone that was timi asma b'mezid. That's the suffix. Allah chadal. Mi shetimi asmi b'mezid. And v'leisho kashir, he didn't weigh the amount of shir. Is there is a suffix? Im shir hishtachavoya lo'anus bulvad. This whole shir of hishtachavoya is only for someone that became tummy b'mezid. Or this shir hishtachavoya is also for someone that timi atzmi b'mezid. Ulefichach. Im nela mimenu lepel, he forgot. He was timi atzmi b'mezid, and then he forgot that he's tummy, or he forgot that it's migdosh. And v'yotza, and he went. V'leisho means not the leisho at all. It means leisho, he leisho kashir, that Marie Kurka says. Leisho kashir is any meva carbon, because it's a suffix, whether that shia, which he was shah, but it wasn't kashir, is enough of a shia, since he was matami atzmi b'mezid. That's din number one. V'chein, another shaila is, im tola atzmi ba'avar azor. He went ahead, and he hung himself, he was toiling himself ba'avar azor on something. So the shaila is adavar sofik im avar azora ke azora ene ke azora. Does the avar azora have a din of azora or not? Doesn't have a din of azora. Mainly the passion of the shaila is whether or not if a person was shoya in this place of the avar azora, is it considered like being shoya in azora? If avar azora has a din of azora, so then it has a din. So then it is considered a shoya of azora, and if not, that's the passion of the dvar. Ma'aseh Mishnah Melech is that the din is that if you shecht kachim kalim ba'avar azora, it's considered a proper shchita. So the chura that shows that avar azora has a din of the azora. So what's the shaila over here if avar azora has an azora? Now that's a shaila that the Mishnah Melech asks. And on that, there's a teretz of the Er Sameach. He says azay that avar azora has a din of azora, but the shaila is what kind of halacha of the din of avar azora having azora. Is the pshat is that if you're in the avar azora, it's as if you're in the Azor. In other words, it's not the pshat, the Avar Azor, the Emes has a din of Azor. It's just that since, like, it's considered like, since you're hanging in the ear of the Azor, it's like you're standing on the Azor. It's like you're standing on the Azor. It's not the Avar of the Azor, the Etzim is Azor. The standing in the Avar Azor has a din like a kluta k'mishahuncha al derech. So in other words, like your huncha ba'aretz. It's not the Avar has that din. The Iker is the Aretz. But being in the avar of the aretz is like as if you're on the aretz. If that's the pshat, now there's a din that when a person's in the azor and he's tummy, he's not allowed to go to another place in the azor, to go to a place derech harucha. So if the avar azor, the etzim is azor, the avar azor has a din of azor mamish, so going into the avar is going to derech harucha. You should go out. Why are you going in the avar? Masha'inkin, if the get of the avar is not like Azora Mamish, it's only like standing in the Avar has a din of Aretz, so then going into the Avar doesn't have a din that you're going to the Charucha, because it makes no difference if you're standing over here or you're going up to the Avar, because the whole Avar has a din like here. It's not that the Avar Be'etzim is the Azora. That's a teretz that the Er Sameach answers to this Mishnah Melech's Kash. Halacha Hey. Mishin is topically im nichnas l'mikdash yochel kedish betumei lav. So Eini maybe Osham Toli. This din of Osham Toli, which we bring for a Chatas Kvuah, doesn't apply to a carbon elevated. She'im bevin carbon ali heida ele bekar shechayav al shegagos echatus kvuah. Those averes which you chayav on shegagos echatus kvuah. So if you lay heida, so you bring a carbon elevated. But those, you bring a osham toli. Masha'enkin, those averes that you bring an osham toli, you bring a carbon elevated, so you don't bring an osham toli for that. Halacha vav. Misha hayu lefonav shnei shvilim. Echad tomi ve'echad tor. Halach Berishin, he went into the Rishon, so at that point in time he was a Suffolk Tommy. And then V'chazar V'halach B'Sheni, now he went to the Sheni, so really right now he becomes a Vade Tommy. Aber Be'esh Halach B'Sheni, Shachach Shahalach Berishin. So when he went into the Rishon, he realized that he's a Suffolk Tommy. Now when he went into the Sheni, he also realized he was a Suffolk Tommy because of the Sheni. Now if he would have remembered that he went Berishin, so he would have realized he's a Vade Tommy. But he never really remembered when he went into the Sheni that he went into the Rishon. And now, he Bechlal forgot that he's even a Suffolk Tommy. In reality, he was a Vade Tommy. But he even forgot that he was a Suffolk Tommy. And v'nichnas l'mikdash yachol kedesh. So the din is chayiv. He never really had a full yediyah l'tumah. He never really realized that he went b'shnei shvilim. He realized at one point in time that he went b'shvil rishon, and he realized at another point in time that he went b'shvil sheni, but he never realized that he went in both shvil. But nevertheless, aval pin came chayav chatos. Shemikzas Yediyah Kechol Yediyah. Since he realized there was a Mixas Yediyah, so that's called a Mixas Yediyah Kechol Yediyah, and that realization that he's a Sofik Tom, side the realization that he was a Sofik Tom Berishin, and it was a realization that he was a Sofik Tom B'Sheni, so therefore it's considered a Yediyah, and therefore it's considered a Yediyah's Tumah. That's the din. Holach Berishin, and then he only went into one shvil, and then v'nichlas l'migdash yochel kedish, then it's potter, that's pasha that is potter. Mipnei shur safik tam, this only agama to the next halacha, which is a hemshach. Again, Holach Berishin, v'nichlas l'migdash yochel kedish is potter, that's pasha because he's safik tamei. Now what happens if he's a shlishi v'shvi v'toval, achar, shouldn't say v'achar, achar shenichlas l'migdash. Because what happened was he went Berishin, he went Berishin on the Shvil Arishin, and then he went into the Migdash. He went into the Migdash. And Lepel, after he went into the Migdash, he went ahead and was Mazah B'Shlishi B'Shvi V'Toval. So he's definitely not a hemshech of the Tumah of the previous one. And then, V'Holach B'Sheni, again now there was again a Halom, he went into the Sheni, he went V'Holach B'Sheni, and then V'Chazav V'Nikmas L'Migdash. So the question over here, we know for sure that he went into the Migdash when he was Tomei, either the first time or the second time. Again, there was two shvil, one was Tomei and one was Tor. He went into one shvil, and then he went into the Migdash, and then he's a B'Shlisha B'Shvi and V'Toval, and then he went into the second shvil, and again he was Nichnas L'Migdash. So now we know either the first time he was Nichnas L'Migdash when he was Tomei, or the second time he was Nichnas L'Migdash V'Tomei. So the din is Chayv. Shari Nichnas Kshu Tomei L'Migdash B'Vadei, Oy b'pam rishena b'pam shniya. Va'aval pi shekol yediyah man was only safek yediyah. He never really realized that he was tummy. In other words, after he went into the first, he realized that he was a safek tummy. And after he went, and then he became toyer from that tumah. And then after he went into the second, again he was only a safek tummy. His aval pi shekol yediyah man was only a safek yediyah. Shari kol shvil mehem was only a safeku. Abrakam b'tumas migdash v'kadoshev is of asu safek yediyah ki yediyah. And this special din, because the whole din of Yediyah B'tchila is only a Chiddush, it's a Chiddush in Hilchas Tumas Migdash V'Kadoshev. So this din of Yediyah is this din of Yediyah, which has to have a Yediyah B'tchila, is also Safik Yediyah Ki Yediyah. Therefore, even though he never had a Vada Yediyah before he actually did the Aveda, either time, Sai Berishin or B'Sheni, we don't know when he did it. But there was never a Yediyah B'tchila because it was only Yediyah Safik. So therefore, so that's a chiddush that also safek yediyah ki yediyah. In the first case in Allah Chavav, over there if you're mitzar of both sveikas, so you could say that there was like a yediyah zvade, there was a safek here, and there was originally there was a safek yediyah by the Rishon, and then there was another safek yediyah by the Sheni, but Lepel there was both of them before he actually went in. But over here there was only one safek yediyah. So that's the chiddush that even the one safek yediyah is also considered a yediyah. Halacha ches, hayet tamei v'amru lishnayim nichnastu l'migdosh. Who aim alei nechnasti is naman ve'eni mevi carbon. Why? Shem yirtzi yem amazing that you see. And in the Mela we say that when he says lei nechnasti, it's kilo like he said lei nechnasti shegi el amazing like we learned before. Now that's if the issue was if he was nichnas l'migdash or not. They're saying nechnasti l'migdash and he's saying lei nechnasti. What about amru lishnayim tami o yisik shenechnasti l'migdash? We know you were tami when you were nechnasti l'migdash. Ubefanenu nitmeso. We saw you becoming tami. And we also know v'yodaita shata tummy. You knew that you were tummy. We know both these pieces of information. We know that you were tummy and that you knew you were tummy. Now, Lepeil, it's possible he was taka tummy, but maybe he became Torah. Is aval pi shahaya ben tumazu shemeiden bo uben knisasi lemigdash yom ram. Memela she'afshalei sheyemar kvar tavalti. He could have really timed it. I was taka tummy, but Lepeil I was table and became uis tummy. Aber heil v'hichish zayid v'amar leinit meismi elam. It's not the question is if nechnasti. If the issue is nechnasti and he says lein nechnasti, we say that when he says lein nechnasti, it means lein nechnasti shegi l'mezim. Masha'enkin over here, he's not saying lein nechnasti, he's saying lein etmesi. And he's being makrish da'edim, hail v'hikrish da'edim, v'amar lein etmesi me'elam, and they're tiny you were befedish yen etmesi, is arei lein amonim, we don't believe amigo kneged edim, arei lein amonim, or maybe carbon alpiyam. In the view shnaim, the musach hamur, if two people could say Eidos and kill someone is kalvach and cause him to be kabel misa is kalvachem sheviyul the carbon akal sharei chish, and he's being makrish them. He's saying lein nit meisi. So even though he has a migo, he could tie it tavalti, but the pale is not naman connected either. Halacha tes tumas migdash v'kadoshav shehoya lo yediyah b'tchila, and lepeil v'lehoya lo yediyah b'seif. So sor sheim akipurim manase b'fnim, and v'yem akipurim toilen. Achi yivodolei, and then v'yavi carbon elevated. Lepeil he's doch mechuyev a carbon elevated for this tumas migdash v'kadosh. And it's a possibility that he should have a yediyah b'seif, because lepeil he had a yediyah b'tchila, so he could remind himself. But nevertheless, until he has a yediyah b'seif, so that the sor sheim akipurim, which is nasa b'fnim, and the yem akipurim are tailen, until he actually knows about it and he brings a carbon elevated. That's if there was a yediyah b'tchila. But she'ein bo yediyah b'tchila, avol yesh bo yediyah b'seif. So then he'll never really, he can't bring the carbon because lepeil there was no yediyah b'tchila. So sor and nasa b'chutz b'yem akipurim. The sor which is nasa b'chutz, which is part of the carbon musaf. The sor which is nasa b'chutz b'yem akipurim, v'yem akipurim mechapurim. But she'ein bo yediyah lei b'tchila v'lei b'seif. So on that is ira regolim was ira shechadoshim mechapurim. So again, so there's a shegig where there was no yediyah b'seif. So that's the sor and nasa b'fnim v'yem akipurim. There's the shegig where there was no yediyah b'tchila and there was a yediyah b'seif. So then is the sor hanasa b'chutzes mechaper, and then there was a mtzias of a tumas migdash v'kadoshim where there was no yediyah, not b'tchila, not b'seif. So then seira harigolim, a seira shchadoshim mechaper. That's talking about if it was a shegig. V'alz dein tumas migdash v'kadoshim, so that parke and gadoshim mekipurim mechaper. If the person that was amazing was menakenim, so then he's nischaper from the park and gadol shem akipurim, and v'im hoyim yisrael, so then dam sor and nasa b'fnim, the dam of the sor and nasa b'fnim, v'im akipurim mechaper, shenamar v'chipur al hakedesh mitumas b'nei Yisrael.